It was a big deal. The fires are still going on. Hopefully there's only a few days left of this so that people, in our city can start to heal.
Outside Voices podcast for passing 100,000 subscribers.
But my biological father is Hispanic.
Austin Enriquez?
Austin Enriquez, Landon Enriquez.
Give quick little details on your biological dad so we can make this little clip go viral so people could potentially help us find him if he's still alive.
I just know it's Benjamin Enriquez.
This man right here is the reason why I am the father who I am today. The best dad that any son could ever ask for.
That's a fact. For me to even be that type of person, I would never be that without you.
Thank you, son. I appreciate you guys.
Woo! Welcome back to Outside Voices Podcast, Episode 8.
Episode 8.
If you have not yet subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button.
Spotify. Like, comment, share, subscribe, like you say.
Yes, and always leave a positive comment.
Guys, we broke our one rule of being consistent.
We did.
Which was last Sunday, but it was a good cause. It was for a good reason. As you guys, I'm pretty sure are familiar watching this, LA had a huge just outrage of all these fires that popped up out of nowhere, and a lot of people were affected. So we just wanted to do our part by being respectful and skipping that time. And we both spent our time donating and helping the cause. We know people that were affected by it. We were almost affected by it, almost evacuated. It was a big deal. The fires are still going on. I know the two biggest fires are still going on, and hopefully there's only a few days left of this so that people, in our city can start to heal. But that's just in case you were wondering why we, didn't do last Sunday, or you missed why. That's why we missed.
And our hearts go out to everybody who were affected by the fires. We're with you.
Very much so.
So, touching on that, let's go into something positive. We have something here. I haven't showed you. I'm going to surprise you.
Oh, what is it? What is
Anybody know what this is? Comment below if you think you know what this is.
Is that a plaque? Is it a plaque?
This is our 100,000 subscriber
Well, let me see that.
YouTube plaque. Read that there, my boy. Read that there.
Wow.
Outside Voices podcast for passing 100,000 subscribers.
Why have I never got a plaque in my life?
Y'all see that?
I've been in the few millions. I've never. Wait, hold on. Let me see.
Yeah, you're not used to these, huh?
I've never.
I know you haven't. I
me
got a
see.
few of these in my lifetime.
Okay, can I see? Can I feel it?
Congratulations, little brother.
Outside Voices podcast for passing 100,000 subscribers. This is tight. I wish Snapchat did this low key. Things like this. That would be dope.
You're right.
Show this? Oh. Guys.
All to you guys. Shout out to everyone who tunes in and supports Outside Voices podcast. Thank you guys so much. That wouldn't be possible without you guys. We really appreciate it in a short time frame too. We only have 8. This will be our 8th episode.
Yeah, we could have been on 9.
Yes.
Okay, so this says, do you remember your first subscriber, your 100th, or your 100,000th subscriber? Chances are you do. And we know that you'll definitely remember your 100,000th subscriber. Your fans may have found you while searching YouTube, learned about you through a friend, or maybe you showed up as a recommended video. No matter how they came to your channel, your audience stayed and their numbers increased because of you and your community you've built.
Clap it up. Landon, clap it up. Yeah.
Wow. That actually really is tight, though.
Thank you guys so much.
And I've never even seen a plaque. You used to have the diamond one, didn't you?
Yeah, man, we had quite a few.
But the diamond one, the one that's like shaped weird, like it's like
yeah, we're still going.
Where
We're
is
still
it-
going
where is
too,
it
by the
at?
way.
Where is that at?
We got it
You have it somewhere?
somewhere.
You don't know where it's at?
Somewhere.
That's crazy.
But,
All right, guys. Without further ado, though, we are getting into today, which I'm very excited about how it's going to go, okay? Because we do have a special guest.
Get that plaque real quick.
Bro,
Get the plaque real quick.
what are you going to do
You're
with
just
it?
going to leave it on the blanket. I'm going to put it right here so people can see it.
Okay.
Okay, put it right here for the little 8th episode right there.
Can I take that home or no?
Hell no.
Okay.
All right.
So, we have a special guest today, okay? And this person is behind the cameras looking at us crazy because it's cold, okay? And this is a special guest because someone very dear to us. I don't know how happy or how emotional or what we're going to be talking about today. Okay. But without further ado, we have a very special guest. Our father is here today, Landon McBroom.
What's up, Pops?
Go ahead and bring him out here.
Come to the beanbag, Pops.
What is that?
You brought your own blanket?
You know what? I have noticed that you guys may not be providing blankets. I feel like this.
Is that a heated blanket?
This is an electric.
Guys, there's a wire. Can they see the cord?
Heated.
He
Hey,
connected it to the.
Don't worry about the cord.
You connected it to our plugins?
I had to bring all my own supplies. I do feel like
Is
this.
it warm?
I do feel like this
It's actually
heater.
warm.
It's
It is.
actually heated?
Yeah.
It is heated, and it is very warm, and you can keep your hands off of it. I do feel like this is for looks, more for ambiance. I don't feel too much heat coming off of it, so I'm very.
People do say that.
I'm glad
You came
very
well
glad I
prepared.
brought my blanket.
Hey,
I
that
do feel a
means-
little bit off because I don't have the beanie going
It's
like
okay.
the two of you,
It's okay.
and I do.
You got
My ears are a little large, so I'm a little extra cold.
you got a fresh
know, I
cut
feel
though.
it. Well, I'm sorry.
You got a fresh cut.
I do got a fresh cut.
You look nice.
Super cuts. Yep.
Super cuts.
Super
That's where you go.
cuts. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do when the barber's busy.
By the way, for those who don't know, my Pops, he lives in Palmdale. And I'm not sure how the barbers are up there in Palmdale, but his cut is fresh.
I appreciate that.
Shout out Palmdale Barbers.
I appreciate that, son.
So, I don't know if you watched the episode we did with our mom. Okay.
I did.
Okay. So there's things that obviously she talked about that we don't have to ask you because she already talked about it. Okay. But let's just start with you growing up. I feel like we still don't know the full story of the stuff, how you grew up. But can you explain a little bit about your upbringing, how you grew up?
Well, I was born in the Antelope Valley Hospital in 1990.
Stop. That's where you get
Well,
it
probably, but no, born in the AV, and I don't want to say unfortunately, but been out there, my whole life. You guys were both born at same hospital, and it's the Antelope Valley. When I was out there, I mean, there was like 5 stoplights. There was only stop signs, and all we did was ride dirt bikes and motorcycles everywhere. And now it's just so much traffic, and when the population gets so large, it just becomes just totally different environment. So a lot has changed out there, but no, I mean, I feel still it's home, and I would love to be closer to you guys, as you guys know.
So for those who don't know, Palmdale is a little similar, probably a little worse than Arizona. Very spread out, all dirt. And it's about an hour north of where we are today, which is L.A.
It's basically like around 30 to 45 minutes from Six Flags, if you guys know where Six Flags is. So It's like going that direction. Okay, past Santa Clarita, go a little further, you run into Palmdale.
So for those who don't know, that's where me and my brother grew up. And Mom's left Palmdale about 12 years ago?
I was 16. So I'm 28 now, so that's 12 years ago.
12 years ago, she moved to Malibu. That's where she lives now. And then Pops stayed out there, so he still lives in Palmdale. So, backstory.
Okay, so now break down the family dynamic. Your family dynamic.
My family dynamic in regards to
what was it like? Who were you around? Siblings.
I have 2 sisters. One of my sisters, your aunt. My oldest sister has 6 kids, so you have 6 cousins. My youngest sister has 3 children of her own. She's still out there in Palmdale. My oldest sister, they're in Washington area. They moved out of the California, 20 years ago. I mean, they just they got out of here. So, and then you've got some aunts and uncles that are out there, and some cousins. Your cousin Chad and Curtis, and your uncle
Carl,
Aunt Dovey, and them. But they've
about-
actually recently just moved as well.
What about mom, dad?
Mom, dad. So my mom, who now lives in Oregon, your grandmother, she moved out of California. I don't know, it's probably been over 15 years now. My dad, who passed away 2 years ago, was living in Washington during the pandemic, which obviously was kind of it was unexpected. He went in for, as you guys know, went in for a routine gallbladder removal and got an infection and got sick and unfortunately never recovered. It was something that we didn't see coming, and that was tough. I mean, you guys were there when we all went to go see him. So it was definitely a difficult time. But yeah.
Would you say that, I mean, Palmdale is its own type of situation, but were you living a high, middle, lower class lifestyle?
You know, I don't like to call it, you know, lower class, middle class, upper class. I mean, my mom, your grandmother, was a very hard worker. She always worked, was a single mom, single parent up until the time that I was, I want to say, 6th grade. My dad, who passed away, he was involved, you know, for the first, I want to say probably till I was maybe 5 years old or so. And then, you know, things didn't work out with them. And then, you know, my mom basically was raising me. She worked multiple jobs. And at that particular time, you know, things were really tough when you're a single parent. I remember us being on food stamps. Back then, you guys probably don't even know what food stamps are, but it's like a little coupon book of paper money. You go to the grocery store, and that's how you bought your groceries. And I remember always getting those food stamps from my mom and going and, you know, getting loaf of bread, milk, fruit, whatever, and always excited because they give you back cash like change, and always trying to keep, spend it all, and I'd come back with, you know, 50 cents in my pocket, whatever. And back then that was a lot, you know. Then I could go to the liquor store and buy a bunch of candy. Candy back then was 10 cents a box, so it was just, it was
a
different.
Whole box was 10 cents?
Well, maybe, you know, not a large box like the boxes you guys buy now.
Yeah.
But and then I also, you know, even going to school was different. I was one of those kids where I got free lunches. I got tokens. So you're given a token that's got a number on it, a red token. I remember this to this day. And when you get in line, you get your token, and then you go get your free lunch. So it definitely did not, you know, grow up with money and, you know, could afford, you know, all those, you know, those things that sometimes some people take advantage of, or not take advantage of, but just take, you know, they don't appreciate, you know, so much what they have, and they just take things for granted. So for me, I remember too, I didn't have the name brand, always a name brand shoes or clothes. I remember.
What were you rocking?
I was rocking Tough Skins, man. Back then they were called Tough Skins.
I think I heard of that.
Tough Skins.
Yeah,
what they did is they had an extra like layer, like a pad stitched on your knees, so when you were a kid and you fell down, you didn't rip a hole in your knees.
That's kind of clever. I like that.
Super clever. Maybe we should bring it back. But but no, so we had you know, didn't have the name brand stuff so much. So if we you know, I remember when my mom was able to get me my first pair of what I considered name brand shoes, and that was a pair of Vans. I was like, oh, I'm on. I got some Vans. Like I'm doing it. But yeah, those Nikes and Adidas and all that stuff, Pumas, I wasn't rocking all that. You know, obviously. Or
wait, I got a question about that.
Yeah, before we continue going into that, let's talk about his parenthood. Right? We want to get into his mom. He just mentioned his mom was basically a single parent.
Okay.
Right? And you, Grandpa McBroom.
Right. When
did he come into your life?
He came into my mom's life when she was a senior in high school. I went to Quartz Hill High School, graduated Quartz Hill High School, in Quartz Hill, which is the Antelope Valley. My mom went to Quartz Hill High School. She was living in L.A. in the Echo Park area. She got pregnant, and then my grandparents, your great grandparents didn't approve, and there was a lot of things going on at that particular time. They then moved out to the Antelope Valley. That's how I ended up out there. Moved to Quartz Hill. She went to Quartz Hill High School, but at that particular time, obviously she's pregnant, and then she met my dad, Alan McBroom, and they met. And I don't know how far along she was, but he took on that responsibility, from day one, from the time that I was born. And that's how it
okay,
came about.
So pause real quick.
Well, so because
it's kind of confusing.
If you're lost here, and I think this is big for our family too, because I feel like we never really publicly, shed light on this topic. But you never knew your biological father.
No, still don't know him.
And you never seen a picture of him.
I've never seen a picture of him.
So your mom, my grandma, was pregnant with you and then met our grandpa.
Which crazy because he has the same name as you.
So let me
So how does that work?
Okay,
So how does that go to play? Because I always want to know that.
So so this is something, I mean, obviously we're, something we've never shared. Never shared publicly, a couple of close friends, and really just us, our family. And it's kind of because of the last name, we've joked about it and what have you. But my dad came into the picture when my mom was pregnant. They got married. When I was born, my dad was there, signed the birth certificate.
Okay, by the way, real quick, sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
But you keep saying dad like it's your real dad.
Right.
So I know you consider it your real dad, but for the viewers, it's...
Yeah, well, I'm getting there.
Okay.
And I do want to make this point, and I've shared this with the two of you. A father is a sperm donor. That's really all a father is. A dad is somebody who puts a roof over your head, clothes on your back, food on the table,
Teaches you stuff.
nurtures you, loves you. That's a dad. Anybody can be a father. So for my dad to step up and take on that responsibility, sign the birth certificate, be there, and was a provider for many years until things didn't work out and they separated, he was my dad. And so even to this day, but my biological father was not in the picture from day one. Should I go ahead and let everybody know his name, and should we kind of get into that a little bit more details? Okay, I don't know how much we want to share because it's personal, and it's just something that's private.
Yeah.
So I think for us to get into it, I mean, I think it's
I think it's huge because that's like who we are today.
It is, and I think that there's some things that we've talked about trying to maybe seek out
Find them.
a genealogist that can help us locate him. It's something that I've struggled with for a long time. Number one, because my dad is my dad, and I almost feel like guilty in a way going to look for my father. So with that being said, how it was explained to me, I found out when I was like 24, 25 years old. Somebody in our
Which is way older than I feel like most people find out.
Somebody in our family reached out to me and just said, hey, I just think it's important that you know that your dad is not your biological dad. He's not your real dad. And to me, I'm like, well, what do you mean? I was like blown away and kind of like, it was just kind of a surreal moment. So, and this person said, hey, you need to call your mom. You really should talk to her. So when I called your grandmother, I mean, she of course didn't deny it or anything. And she said, yeah, it's true. And she had explained to me that it was just a really bad situation at the time. So when she got pregnant, she was 17 years old. She was young. This person was quite a bit older and had just gotten out of the military. Just got home. I believe it was Vietnam at that time. I'm not 100% sure what branch he was in, and we believe the Army. Was from Echo Park. His family's from Echo Park. His parents from Echo Park. That's where my mom was from. That's where she met him.
Viewers out there, listen, because you
might
may know who he is.
You might be our cousin.
Yeah, you might be able to locate him for my pop. So please just be listening.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we never know. It's really it is a small world. But so when I was born in Lancaster, Antelope Valley Hospital, my mom then took me when I was born to go and see him. She took him and said, hey, here's your son. I had the baby. And she said it was just a really bad, not a good situation at that time. He had multiple roommates. There was a lot of, drinking and drugs going on and things like that. Just a very unstable
environment,
not a safe environment. So she said she spent however, the day or however many hours with him that particular day. And when she left, she never went back. And from that moment on, keep in mind, I had a different last name at that time. Well, still obviously the same last name, but he would never, I don't know if he's ever actually looked for me or if anyone in the family's ever looked for me because I didn't have his last name. His name is Benjamin Enriquez, and he's Hispanic. So we've always joked about, between us. Yeah. Actually, you know what? Let me get a drink as well.
That our last name was supposed to be Enriquez.
So the thing we've joked about is that, even for me, I'm thinking this entire time too, my mom is white, my dad's white, but my biological father is Hispanic. 100% Hispanic.
Austin Enriquez?
Austin Enriquez, Landon Enriquez, Alan Enriquez, Solene Enriquez, El Enriquez, Alea Enriquez. I mean, you can go on and on and on. Still Enriquez. But it's so it's one of those things that, like I said, I've struggled with. But I think that, we've talked about this privately, the three of us, that I think now is the time. It's just more of getting to know who you are, where you come from, your family history. I mean, I would love to know more about my grandparents. Unfortunately, who knows, they may or may not no longer be with us. My dad may no longer, my father may no longer, be with us. My mom is, I'm so bad with math. Grandma's birthday, I think she's born in 52. So what is grandma, 73? She'll be 74. He was, I believe, 4 to 5 years older. So that puts him at 77, 78 years old, 79, somewhere between
So he could still be here depending on his
77,
health.
79 years old is where he is. He could still be here. Could still be in the Echo Park area. My mom does believe that he had a daughter or a son. She wasn't 100% sure, but had a child before me. So I have an older
so you have
sibling.
siblings
I have I could have multiple.
And
Who knows how many
for sure
siblings?
have cousins somewhere.
Yeah, how many siblings I could have, and how many kids they had.
The whole side
and
of the family we don't know.
The whole side of the family. So, and it's not about finding him and Dad. It's more about I never think it's too late to have a relationship with him or anyone in that family. But obviously he'll being dad is gone. Or to me, even being a grandfather to you guys, that's I don't see that being a situation that's realistic. But I think it's still important for us to know who they are, know our history.
So if you
our
found
ancestors.
him tomorrow, what would be the first thing you say to
Yeah,
him?
what would you say to him?
What up? No.
More so.
Where the fuck you been?
Surprise!
More so.
Because this crazy guy on my porch.
What would you ask him? Because I know you obviously have a bunch of questions.
The one thing that I've thought about over however many years now is I just want to know, has he ever looked for me? Did he know about me first? And if he did he ever try, finding me? That's super important to me, because if he didn't, I know he knew about me. So if he tries to say he didn't, well, then that's that. But
Yeah.
I just really want to know that, did he ever try, finding me, locating me? If he did, and for whatever reasons, because I don't want to give him excuses here on this show, but if it was a matter of that, because if he wouldn't have been able to go and say, hey, I'm looking for, my mom, Jeannie, he knew her last name, I would assume, which was Wilson at that particular time. If she was, if he looked for me, but it would have been hard because my last name was, McBroom, and her name had changed. Her name now was McBroom. So even if you'd have looked for her maiden name, and back then, remember, things were different. You didn't just go down to it wasn't just public records everywhere to find out somebody's, marriage license and what have you.
So that's pretty crazy. I have one more thing. So before we get off this topic, we go on to something else. The last thing I wanted to ask, because I didn't really even think about it. So Grandpa Allen, he stopped being around, or like they separated when you were how old?
If I had to guess, I want to say somewhere around maybe 5, 6 years old.
So for this man who already did something very manly and courageous, was to take on a kid that's not his, right? Then for that to be cut only 5 years later, and you stayed his father until he passed away. Yeah, that's a double of a manly thing to do. You know what I mean? Like, he was like, no, that is my
That's a
son.
real dad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's as dad could possibly be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And he didn't live close by. He lived up, up north in the Stockton area and up towards, in that area. So it wasn't like he was, in the same town after they separated, or an hour away. So we didn't get to see him as often, but he was around.
Oh, he was around. We went to he went to his college.
He's wearing
Austin's jersey.
who I known as. I mean, he loved the both of you more than I can even. I can't even explain to you guys how much he loved you guys. He used to come to your guys' little league games.
Yeah, I know.
You were a picture of you sitting up on his shoulders watching Austin play when you were
His
maybe
ass was
3 or
crazy
4
as
years
hell,
old.
like you drinking his beer. Always have a beer.
Personality is
His
crazy.
personality. He is definitely a character.
It's crazy.
Super funny, make you laugh all the time. I mean, I miss him to this day.
Okay, so before we continue, real quick, can you give quick little details on your biological dad so we can make this little clip go viral so people could potentially help us find him if he's still alive?
I guess everything you know about him.
100%, and I don't know much. I think that's been part of the challenge. And again, not that I've been out there really trying too hard. I did try when I first found out. There was these, you could order put in a name and a potential age and what have you, and they'd mail you these these documents and what have you. But I just know it's Benjamin Enriquez, common spelling, which again I don't know 100% what that is, but Benjamin Enriquez. We're going to say age 70. Let's say 77 to 79, somewhere around in there, and that he was in the military when he was, and I want to say he was probably in the military when he was 18. So you'd have to do the math, if he's that age now, and he went in the military from age, let's say he did 4 years, 18 to whatever, 21, 22 years old, and then got out. That's why, like I said, he was about 4 years older than my mom.
Then race?
Hispanic.
In Echo Park.
Yeah, and he was his family and him, they were originally from the Echo Park area. So again, I know there's some people that know how to investigate and search stuff out, especially your guys' fans. I mean, if they're going to find something, they will find it.
You guys at home could potentially do something really big for our family. So just keep that in mind.
Seriously.
That would be awesome. I mean, hey, you know what, you never know, and obviously, we would be grateful. So anybody who puts any time and effort into this is, but I think we will eventually seek out a professional and a genealogist and someone that can maybe help us locate him.
So I do got some Hispanic blood in me.
The crazy thing is not knowing is, even you guys, you're like, well, I've heard you guys, and people ask, oh yeah, I'm biracial, or I'm mixed, I'm half white and I'm half black. But if you think about it, if I'm half white, half Hispanic, then you guys are, and it doesn't mean I'm 50-50. I mean, we're all mixed with all kinds of things. I mean, but yeah, you guys are white, black, and Hispanic.
Okay. So now going in a little bit more positive direction.
Thank you.
Okay. Just to get the vibes up a little bit. So going back to you in high school, there's a question I always wanted to know. What made you the Vanilla Ice of Palmer? What shaped you to be like the swaggy, cool white guy? You weren't the typical white dude who's just like a white guy.
Wait a minute.
You could dance. First off, I'm talking slick back, hoop earrings, beater getting a little swole, big baggy jeans. Okay, so what made
overalls?
What like formed you to even like have that type of taste, to have rhythm, to like that type of music, to like black women? What even made you like that?
First off,
and all black friends.
No. Come on, man. That's not true. You got
a couple.
I got a couple.
Yeah.
No, I've just, to me, number one, your grandmother, my mom has so much rhythm. We grew up in the house watching like Soul Train. Listen, she had every album. Everything was like soul music. And I remember your grandmother putting on albums and us being in the living room, family room, just dancing. But that's where I got it from. I got it from
your mom.
From my mom. My mom
That's
has soul, has rhythm. And for me, wasn't so much a Vanilla Ice as it was more of like a Color Me Bad. That vibe.
They don't know what the
They
fuck. They don't know what
but
the fuck
why
that
I put
is.
that out there, they're gonna now search "Color Me Bad" and they'll see the lead singer in "Color Me Bad." Like, okay, now I see Pop's where the swag that he had.
Okay.
But no, for I've just always been. I think for me, it's never been about. I know this is. I don't want to come across as this is like cliche and say I've never seen color and there's no racism and there's no all these things, because when I was going to school, and of course, so high school was predominantly white school. I'd say 80% white and maybe 20% black. And I think at that particular time when when I was dating your mother, there wasn't a lot of, interracial couples at that time, and you just didn't see it. And I remember, experiencing things that, I had never experienced before, is just, people that when they judge you, and coming from both sides. I remember being scared one time at Magic Mountain. Her and I, we went to Magic Mountain. We're walking through Magic Mountain. I'm a teenager. We're both teenagers. And I remember people walking by, always get the stares. And I remember a group of guys walking by and calling your mom out, and
I
others
never
calling
thought
me
about
out.
that.
No, it's
I never
it's
thought
true.
about what he experienced being with mom.
Oh yeah, 'cause
during that
you're
time.
you're gonna have both ways. You know what I'm saying?
I know, but I'm saying I never thought about what he experienced being with mom. Like, he took on that role of dealing with a lot because he was with mom.
Yeah, white guy with a black woman.
That's what I'm saying.
And then
I
your
never
black
thought of it like
community
that.
being like, what you doing?
Yeah, yeah.
And I by no means I can ever sit here and say I know what it feels like to be black, or I know what it feels like to experience racism and all that. By no means. But the two of you do. Your mom does. Some of my closest friends have. But I remember us going out to dinner, and when you guys were little, and people whispering, people talking. That was prior to you guys being here, and after you guys were here. And even to this day, we still get that. It's unfortunate, but we do. But for me, I was never like I only dated and was only attracted, to black women, as you guys
had a white
put
girl
it.
before?
I had.
He ain't never had no white girl before.
My first girlfriend was
When you were
a white
12?
girlfriend.
She was
tomboy. I was very much into tomboys. For me, it's never been about.
Excuse me?
It's not.
Tomboys?
I was tomboy. It was like girls that were into sports. Hey,
Okay.
I know you don't hear like, hey, she's a tomboy, but back then, tomboys, like, I remember the first girl I ever dated, she was into, like, she played softball and soccer, and just like she was a jock.
Yeah.
And even for you, you've told me in the past girls that you've dated that are athletic and they're into sports. It's like, it's just different. You've got your girly girls, and you've got girls that are very much,
Like you could tell they had brothers or something.
yeah, 100%. So for me, but it's just, it's never been about, color or race or what have you. It's just, and honestly, I can say again, without being cliche, it's the person, it's them, and yeah.
I think the cliche racism that I have and you have probably received is like the cliche mixed person racial, which is like you're never black enough and you're never white enough. And really, I feel like some of my, most of my friends were black growing up, that like their racism was different than mine, because it was almost like more off that I mixed rather than just being black or just being white, especially when we were little. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like obviously as time goes on and where we're at now, it's obviously became less and less and less and less. But I think that was what every biracial person has experienced at one point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And again, it kind of goes down there. Like, I'm not saying that I'm sitting here saying, well, I don't see color. I've never seen color or what have you. I obviously do and understand it. And it's just something that for me that obviously I have it's a different perspective, because again, like you said, your mom, and she's black, and that whole side of the family. But then we have family members that are Hispanic, like, somebody who I consider a brother, your uncle, Ed, he's Hispanic, his whole side of the family, so.
No, we have a very great
hold on. I was just
mix,
gonna say we have people in our family
Yeah.
that are as white could be.
Yes.
And we literally have people on our family wearing the full African tribal fit, everything.
Yeah.
Remember my uncle, or I think that's my
Mpanduzi?
great uncle Mpanduzi.
Yeah.
I'm talking full dashiki,
Yeah.
full
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
going down, and then you have the super.
We have the
it's
best
crazy.
of all worlds.
We do. We have the best. I mean, we're blessed at the end of the day. So, we've experienced a lot. I experienced a lot growing up, and learned a lot, from that. But I think it also has made it so that you become even more sensitive to it and more compassionate, and yeah.
So
Now it's time to get into
I want to get into growing up.
you being a father.
Man.
So, well, let's go. The last thing I want to say about the father. I know it's sad. I wanted to say one thing about it. Like, obviously you having someone to look up to in terms of how to model being a father after. You know what I'm saying? On top of that, I know that Grandpa Allen was more away than he was, even though he was talking to you all the time. It's not like he was around you every single day, right?
Correct.
So how did you even know how to be a father? Or how did you even know, like, you know what I'm saying? Were you scared initially?
You know, I think that, you know, I always tell people this. You know, I know so many people personally that grew up without fathers, and they become the most amazing fathers, most amazing dads that you could imagine. And then I also know guys that have grown up without dads and end up being the same type of dad, you know, a project of their environment. Like they don't know how to be a dad, and they're not there. So I've seen both. So we'll back up just a little bit. So my mom met a gentleman when I was in 6th grade. His name was Wayne. And she married him. And he was, I never called him dad, because at that particular time, obviously I'm getting a little bit older. I'm getting ready to go into middle school, and I was, you know, and I think they started dating maybe when I was in 6th grade. And when he came into the picture, they were together from, again, 6th, 7th grade, married 7th grade, until I graduated high school. And unfortunately, you know, that didn't work out. So that was obviously, you know, the second time, you know, well, first time really going through that, because it was my dad, you know, my Alan, you know, that my dad, that divorce, going through that, and then Wayne. So if you think about it, you know, those years that I'm talking about, age 11, 12 to 18, is probably the most critical. You know, you're growing, you're developing, what have you. He, to this day, was who I consider also my dad. I consider him more my dad than even my dad, Alan, trying to keep it so everyone can kind of follow me. And to this day, it really is sad for me, because I lost contact with him really after that separation and that divorce that my mom went through. And he moved away out of the Antelope Valley. I think he moved up towards up north as well. And we just lost contact. At that particular time, I'm getting out of high school. I have my own life. I'm starting things. I moved out. I'm living on my own, so on and so forth. And as you start to, you know, get busy, as you guys know, it's not that you don't love your parents, not that you don't care about your parents. It's just you're busy with your own, you know, your own lives, you know, real life things, jobs, work, bills, what have you, being able to provide for yourself. And he was the most amazing dad. He taught me about sports. He built me a batting cage in our backyard.
That's tight.
Yeah, he built it. He worked for Northrop. He was an engineer, extremely smart guy, very mechanical, built motors, rebuilt motors. He's the one that got me my very first car when I was 16.
Damn.
Which was a Bug. Taught me how to work on them. He's the one that sat down with me, I remember to this day, at the kitchen table and worked with me on my homework, did homework with me. That's a dad, you know, provided obviously a roof over our head and food, and put food on the table and clothes on my back. And that's when I also, we started to do a little bit better, because he had a really good job. And that's when I started, you know, wearing the Nikes and a little nicer clothes and this and that. And at that particular time, and not that was, you know, super important, but when you're a teenager and you're going to high school, everybody knows, like, unfortunately, you're judged by, you know, what are you wearing and you know, what have you. And so, and not that we were rich or wealthy by no means, but I would say, you know, middle class. And but he was there for me for I mean, everything to this day. So I think that's really where I learned.
So that's who you model your parent. How you were a father.
So regardless of your biological father, you still had good examples in your life.
I had excellent examples in my life, 100%.
So now you having 2 sons, right?
By the way, did you always want 2 sons, or what was like your perfect mix of kids?
I think starting out, we never really talked about it, but I think I don't want to speak for every man out there, but if I had to guess, I'd say 99.9% of men would want a son.
Yeah.
So I just wanted, like, I think probably what you two, you both just wanted that one son. I just wanted, like, just give me my one son, and then I don't care if I have a girl or 2 girls or 3 girls. So we had to, obviously, you were first.
Yeah, you really just wanted me, and then he.
No. We wanted more than one kid, so we had you, and then Landon came along, and then we decided 2 was enough after Landon.
Who was an accident?
Yeah, it was
an accident.
There was no accidents.
The first one.
Yeah, first one is usually the accident.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you know that. It's usually not
you
usually.
know that.
It's usually not planned.
Austin, you know that.
I don't
Everybody
think I don't
knows
think
that.
it was planned, but definitely no regrets. And obviously, you're here. So, but with that being said, no, it's after Landon and his wild, crazy self, we were like, nah, this is we're good. This is enough.
So
You heard that?
Yeah.
You scarred his ass to have no more kids.
Scarred.
I want to get straight into some actually good, funny topics, because when my mom was on here, she talked a lot about that whole situation of how you guys, what your guys' dynamic was when you guys first started having kids, okay? So let's start off first by saying, what is some of your highlight memories of us from before, we were 18, basically?
Highlights. Some of the greatest, happiest memories is really sports. I mean, we were a sports family. I remember, again, just want to go back real quick to Wayne. Wayne told me baseball was my thing. I played football and I played baseball. And I thought, hey, man, I want to be a professional baseball player. That was my dream when I was in high school. And he says, if you're going to be a professional baseball player, you have to eat, drink, and sleep baseball. Because he would see that I wasn't practicing like I should be, and I was, always wanting to go out with the friends and do this and that, what have you. So for us, it was kind of the same thing. Everything was about sports. And I can't remember a day going by. I mean, we did sports 7 days a week. All the traveling we did. We did the travel ball, as you guys know. I coached both of you guys, but definitely the sports. I mean, sports is the thing that, because that's all we did,
Okay.
I got 2 crazy ones just to talk about right off the top.
No,
Now, there's crazy moments.
I want him to bring up some of the ones that we should talk about to this day. Let's bring up moments that you'll always remember for the rest of your life.
The moment I remember is, and the scariest moment for me and your mom. I think you were, I want to say 5, 6. We had, I think it might have been your birthday party actually, or we had everybody over from the coach's pitch team, your t-ball team over at the house, and you guys were in the backyard playing wiffle ball, and you were standing too close to somebody who was swinging the bat, and you got hit in your eye with the bat. I thought you lost your eye. You came in the house screaming, holding your eye, saying you got hit in the eye with your bat. You couldn't open it. It was already swollen. And I had thought to myself, I know it's going to sound crazy, but even at 5 years old, I knew that you had a gift, that you were extremely, you had, when it comes to sports, your hand-eye coordination was off the charts, and you already playing at such a high level, even at just t-ball. I know people think, well, guy, he was only 5, but you literally were dribbling a basketball between your legs at 5, and
y'all
you
heard I was
playing
different,
baseball
y'all.
at 5. You were different. First thing I'm thinking, oh my. As crazy as a dad, his career's over. He's done playing sports. He's gonna have one eye.
Wait, let me give a little story, a little side note, real quick. A perfect example. I wish that we could all watch exactly your reaction to that, because
we're gonna talk about that. My reaction.
Going up.
We can talk about your guys' reactions too.
Craziest reactions to things. You guys have no idea. You have no idea. It was literally the end of the world if anything happened. Like the end of the world. Okay. Yeah. That's why I really was curious. But I was born at that time?
You were.
I was a baby.
Yeah, you were a baby, because I'll share the next moment, which comes shortly after that. So we take you to the hospital, obviously, and then to go see a specialist, and thank goodness you were fine.
I got the best vision to this day.
You could see you got great vision, and then I want to say that same year, Landon's. So you probably were 6. 'Cause I think Landon was only a year and a half or so. He was walking. But I believe your mom and I were upstairs, and all of a sudden I hear Landon screaming. And I'm like, oh, my God. We come flying down the stairs.
He was always crying.
Here you are on the couch acting like, I don't know what happened. And Landon's laying on the ground holding his arm. And this kid, we take him to the hospital and get x-rays. He's got a broken arm. Now we got a 1.5-year-old baby walking around with a cast. People thinking that And a diaper.
I had pictures of just diaper and cast on, and it was because of my brother.
And you were telling me, with as much as you could at that time, that he had pushed you. He's like, no, you guys were wrestling around playing that you failed.
He failed.
So I really don't know the true story to this
bro.
day.
You were always trying to pick on me. And then you fell off the couch.
5-year-old to a 1.5 baby. You think I would pick on him as a baby?
Yeah, because you always kept trying to rub your dirty ass diapers on me.
I have actual scars on my body. I have like a 7-inch,
Here he goes.
stitches
Here
scar
over
on the back of my head.
Here he goes.
From Austin.
Yeah,
I have
7
multiple.
Inch, but yeah.
I got permanent damage from him. Let's just say that.
Yeah, that's what happened to you.
You're fine today, so.
Yeah. That was probably the next thing. Is I remember at the house, again, you two upstairs. I can hear you guys running around up there. Your bedrooms were upstairs. I'm downstairs, and again, there goes Landon screaming the top of his lungs, bloody murder. I'm like,
but you know, like we told you exactly what happened inside the room, right?
I'm sorry.
You know exactly what happened inside the room, though, right? To this day.
Yeah, I know what happened.
No, yeah, he karate kicked, tripped me, like full swoop where I'm airborne.
Yeah.
And do you remember?
Hold on.
Do you remember your dresser? Do you remember how your dresser had
that's
those
where
big,
you hit your
like big metal thing?
That's how you hit your head.
Boom.
Yep.
Shit leaking. And you want to know this guy's reaction? He said, we came down, hey, what happened up there? Every time he was like, Austin's holding the towel to my head.
No, you
Nah, he's fine. He's fine. We come downstairs. I remember we're all in the living room for a second, and you were like examining to see how bad it was. He's looking at the head. Oh my.
No.
Now we gotta go. Brain aneurysm. We gotta go to the hospital right now. Oh, God, it's over with.
I come flying up the stairs. This guy's got a towel, a wet towel, on your head, holding your head like he's okay, because he already knew I was about to go off. Holding your head, he's okay, he's okay, thinking you're about to get a whooping. I'm asking you, what happened? What happened? You're trying to get him not to tell on you. Oh, it's nothing. He just fell.
That's crazy.
Later on,
you
the
know
true story comes
when
out.
the person answers for you? Like, he didn't even ask you.
Yeah.
What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
he just fell. I'm like, how did he just fall in the back of his head? But I knew something had happened because you guys were chasing each other around. You're chasing him. You trip him, karate chop, whatever you did. He goes flying into the dresser, busts his head open, and then he's going to get stitches.
Hold up. So throughout this whole episode, I know me and Landon are going to talk about your reactions to everything, but can you just explain to them why you react the way you do? Like, can you give your reasoning?
Before you answer why you were like so like, oh my God, because it's crazy though, is because we are both like that as fathers.
Yes.
I will say
You
we're
guys
both
get
like,
that from me.
We
Yeah.
cannot stand kids being hurt, being sick, being anything. It is a big deal. It is scary. It is all that stuff.
I don't know why that is, and I know that it's funny because I watch some of my friends, and I watch their reactions when their kids get hurt, and it's the same thing. I don't know if it's everyone, every dad, and but when your kids get hurt, it's like instead of like the first thing is you're angry. It's like you get mad at the situation, not mad at you for getting hurt, but like I've seen you, and I'm like awesome, like, and you, it's like you're yelling at your kids because they fell and they got hurt, and you're like, oh my gosh, what are you doing again? This is how you guys are, and your guys are stressing out. I think it's more of just instant anxiety that hits us, and that we feel so bad because it's something that's out of our control.
Yeah.
So we instantly get scared. We want to make sure everything's okay. I think it's just you become instantly that overly protective of the situation, and you guys take it as your kid, and that's why I try to tell you guys now, like, don't do that, because now when I look back, I know that all it does is it scares them. It makes the situation even worse, and enhances it and takes it to like the 10th degree. Yeah. And for me, it's like being a grandparent is totally different, but you guys as a parent, it's just like it. And it's funny because I'm sure there's people that will watch this or watching and saying like, yeah, my boyfriend's that way, or my husband's that way. It's like, yeah, they get angry when our son or daughter gets hurt. And it's, again, not being angry at the child or at the kid. It's being angry at the situation.
Yeah. No, for sure. All right, hold on.
But as far as the sports thing, yeah, I got a little bit. I was one of those crazy dads that you guys probably seen over the past 10 years on social media. Probably these guys that
I'm trying to tell you, if we were kids and there was TikTok around, you'd be the most viral dad. There'd be Halloween costumes of you. Yeah, literally, like they'd be like, "Oh, I'm gonna be that dad."
Memes everywhere.
Memes
of me.
everywhere.
Yeah, I was, looking back now, that's probably. I don't like to use the word regret, because I feel like regret that you don't want to live in the past. Living in the past, it'll eat at you if you live in the past. You got to move forward. But if I could change one thing, is how I was when it came to sports, because I was that dad that people know that I was just crazy. I mean, if you guys were both so athletic and so good at sports and always one of the best kids on the team, that if, like, you know, you guys almost never struck out in baseball. So if you struck out, I was like, oh my God, why did you strike out? Like, I almost couldn't. I couldn't believe that you struck out. But it's like, come on, man, you ain't struck out.
Austin, take off your glove. We're going home right now because you don't even like baseball. You never liked baseball, don't you? You want to go play video? What do you want to do? You're not playing baseball. Let's go home.
But I think for me though, you keep saying like regret, not a regret, however you want to word it. But for me, I wouldn't change that for anything, because I feel like that made me who I am today. Like, that gave me extra motivation, because I feel like I was naturally good at sports and whatever I put my hands into, that it didn't allow me to get relaxed. Like, there was times where I felt like, oh, I'm just another one of the best kids on the team, but because you were on me so much and you kept me motivated, that only brought me to a different level. You know what I mean?
But looking back though now, for me, it just I feel like it was just really unfair for me to put that much pressure on you. Like, there was, Division I, coaches sitting at every one of your games at 5 years old, at 10 years old, at 15 years old. So for me, it was more of, how I made you feel. And then, like, those talks, to this day, you see videos pop up of dads with that talk after the basketball or baseball game, football on the way home, that hour. Like, you guys would dread those, like, oh, I got to get in the car with my pops. And I got to, because all the way home, all I'm doing is drilling you. Instead of talking about, now, like, with the kids, if any of the kids play sports, I already know I'm going to be so different. It's going to be like talking about everything that they did positive, and if there's something that maybe they didn't perform well or do something, it's asking them, like, hey, is there anything that you're not happy with your performance, and then ask them why and what they could have maybe work on, and just approach it from a totally different perspective. To
piggyback off what Austin said, though, I definitely wouldn't have it any other way, just because that style of parenting, since you know that your parent, especially your father, who's more of like the disciplinary, all that, is demanding a lot out of you, and to be at a high level, not even just as an athlete, but as a human being and as a man, it literally makes you be that way. You know what I'm saying? And go ahead. You want to say anything?
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And I feel like it matched my personality. Like, I feel like everybody's personality is different. Some kids may not be able to handle that, but because I had the strong personality and I had the challenge personality of, like, I've always was up for any type of challenge anybody threw my way, that it worked for me. And I feel like it worked for me even now. Like, when I deal with any type of controversy, I feel like I've been through it all even before I came to social media. Like, growing up and playing sports, when you were always like, especially in basketball, like, I was always one of the shorter people. And so that was, like, always one of my, like, what do you call it? Like,
insecurity?
Not an insecurity, but like one of my downfalls, like when scouts would recruit me. They'd be like, oh, he's 6 foot or he's short, whatever it is. And I would always have to deal with that controversy, always.
I feel like you had something to prove.
I always had something to prove. And so now in social media, if anybody has anything to say about me, it's always just like, oh, I've been through this before. I've been through people talking about me. I've been through all this stuff. So I feel like it really did make me who I am today.
But I will say there obviously is a recipe for greatness, because at the end of the day, if you really think about a lot of the teammates that we had, and just people that you just knew of, every great athlete kid, dad was just like you. Think about that. Every kid you know that was really good at baseball, really good at basketball, their dad wasn't just like a quiet dad. Their dad was pushing them tough, talking to them crazy, making them do that. They're the ones running after practice. Everyone left, they're running. You know what I mean? They're the hardest on them.
I'm gonna time.
Because I feel like if I wasn't good, or I was just like, if I was ass, you wouldn't care.
No, but also
think about it, like, bro, if I was really weak, you wouldn't be on me tough.
And I think that's why. I think that I want to say that I think that a lot of dads, especially dads, I don't want to exclude moms, because there's some moms out there too, but a lot of dads, including myself, I almost feel like I was living through you guys, which is not something you want to do. So I wanted it for you guys so bad that. And again, you guys being as good as you were, you're right. I just saw something. I mean, if you couldn't hit a ball and couldn't throw and couldn't dribble, I'd probably be like, oh, little Austin ain't going to be playing this sport too much longer. Let's put him in tennis or something. But it's, you guys were both extremely gifted. And, for you, all you did was play sports. All you did was play baseball and basketball 7 days a week your entire life. You didn't play video games. You didn't play video games, and everybody played video games. You didn't play with toys. Get your toys and play toys. You didn't ride a bike. You had a bike, never rode a bike. Landon did. It didn't matter what Landon did. Landon did everything.
He did everything.
And Landon was good at. Landon could skateboard his butt off, snowboard, rode his bike, played with his toys. Couldn't get him off the video game sometime.
He did puzzles. He
played
did
basketball.
everything.
No, really.
Sure.
I mean, played basketball, played baseball. This kid did everything. I mean, play in the dirt, play in the desert. Didn't matter what it was. This kid did it. And he was fine being by himself. You could never be by yourself, bro. Never. Your friends had to be at the house 24/7. You're even like that to this day. You have to have somebody around you all the time.
Yeah, look
Or
at
Landon's,
Ray.
you know-
They have sleepovers, and they're in their 30s.
Yeah, it's crazy, but it's
What
true.
are you
It's like,
laughing for back there?
No, you're not talking.
yeah, it's good. But
Don't get me
the
started.
crazy thing is, you over the years, that's actually became part of your personality. You enjoy and want people around. But growing up, you weren't like that. You could be in your room all day long just playing video games and being by yourself, and you were cool with that.
This dude be in the group chat talking about who want to come over. He bored as hell.
You know,
Yeah.
Joe lives with me. Yeah, that's just by design.
by design.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah. I did have
But-
a house full of people.
But you guys were different. But it goes back, like you said, even when I was coaching, I'd have 12, 15 kids on a team, and you have to talk to all of them different. Some kids I could push a little bit harder, and some you couldn't, because there's some that you push a little bit harder, and they that's how they would respond. Others, you do that, and they kind of clamp. They go into a shell, and you're not going to get. So you have to be able to know how to talk to 12, 15 different personalities. But you guys, it was different.
I got a question. It's mainly for me because I want to know. What was that first experience when you knew I was different?
When I knew you were different. Oh, you know what? I think that you weren't even. I think you were just barely learning to walk, and your arm strength, believe it or not, you could throw a ball across the entire room, which was the craziest thing I'd ever seen. Not just that, then I would put those little plastic gloves that you could buy that was too big for your hand and I could throw the ball back to you, and you literally could catch the ball. You barely could walk
Like in the diaper?
In a diaper.
That's
Like I was like,
crazy.
this kid is like, this is not normal. And then, like I said, by the time you were, I want to say, time you were 2 years old, you were dribbling a basketball right hand, left hand. By the time you were tall enough, let's just say 3 years old, 3, 4 years old, with a smaller size basketball, you were doing, most people probably may not know what this is, but you were doing dribbling between your legs. It was called a spider. And you spider dribbling, where it's like between your legs and your hands are going back and forth, right there in the entryway on the tile. I'm watching you sit on the couch, watching you drill. I'm like, this is crazy. Like, this don't even, this
So that's
don't
when you
even
knew
make
you were like,
sense.
all right, I'm invested. Like, I'm about to give my all.
I thought you were on your way, and we were all getting paid. I'm like, we made it. We made it. This kid's going to the pros. And then, like I said, with Landon, I didn't know what Landon was doing. Landon was changing it up. Like, it didn't matter. When it was snow season, he was up in the mountains snowboarding. When it was summertime, he's skateboarding. I'm taking him to the skateboard parks. I'm taking him to indoor skateboard
or you
parks.
had the girls over, hiding them in the closet.
Girls, bro. Girls was different. Like, you guys were so different in so many ways, because you really weren't into the girls like that.
Yeah, he was on some fruity
Chill.
shit.
Hold on,
no,
hold on.
no, you were
Chill. Let's rephrase that.
no, your focus.
Shut your ass up and rephrase what you just
Okay,
said.
your focus was
Thank
sports.
you. Thank you.
Girls came second.
Exactly.
Landon, girls always came first.
Sports from
Like,
was
we
my
were
girlfriend.
we were talking earlier, me and your brother, and he's like, well, you met all, pretty much all my girlfriends. Yeah, I said I met all your girlfriends, all the ones except for the ones that were climbing through the bedroom window. And then they never met. Don't know who those were, but had heard about them later. But no, even like with you, with like your room, and Elle is exactly like you. Her room is spotless. Your room, going through high school, remember, you were commuting to high school, 17 years old, you're junior, senior, you're driving yourself, commuting to high school. Up at 5 o'clock in the morning, your bed was made every day. Your room, clean, spotless, closet, clothes, shoes, everything organized. You were always like that. Landon, oh my God. This kid, I go in the morning sometimes to go make me a bowl of cereal. There's no bowls, no spoons, no plate, no nothing. We have to go and look under his bed to get a bowl. All the dishes were underneath this kid's bed. I'm not in his bed, in his drawers next to his bed. I'm like, this kid could not. And trash, oh my, bro, this kid, you did not know what a trash can was. All the trash went underneath the bed. Everything was underneath your bed or in your closet.
Hold on. Yeah, you make me sound crazy. Let's back up a little bit. Let's get into the girls, because as you know, I was focused on sports. My girls were sports.
Right.
He was all into the girls. Right. And you were the dad where you were strict when it came to like, academics, sports, everything else. But when it came to girls, you were obviously more lenient than mom was, right? So can you explain, like, when did the girls really start coming into play?
I want to say.
Like, do you have an experience? Do you have a moment where you remember where you and mom had to talk about, like, a moment or anything like that?
Really middle school. When middle school picked up, that's when I knew we had problems. Because, things started to, again, sports first for you, but I did start to see a change with you. Because just like with your tattoo that your mom to this day was upset with me and you about, that, that's another story. But with the girls, it was more of, I was okay with it, but it needed to be supervised. You know what I mean? Landon would ask, like, can so-and-so come over? And, I'm like, so-and-so. And I'm like, I don't know any of your guy friends named Lisa. So I'm like, Lisa? That sounds like a girl to me. But it's like, well, yeah, she's just my friend. I'm like, okay, friend. Or we're doing homework. Homework? I ain't never seen this kid do no homework to this day. So homework, I don't know. So I guess they were studying, or doing homework. You never really pulled that card. I think in high school it was more when you started driving, that's when it became a problem.
Yeah.
That's when I knew you were like,
it was on something.
Yeah, you were on something because the practicing, you were still practicing a lot, but it wasn't as much.
Yeah.
And with Landon, it was just like, we had to watch Landon. He was definitely the one that was.
I was in action.
You were in action, bro. And it got worse the older you got. It got worse when you got in high school. High school, man, it was just like, I thought you was going to have a baby before you graduated high school. I was afraid.
You remember when he was hiding girls in his closet, right?
I know about the girls in the closet. Like I said, I'm aware of that. I'm not saying you never did that, but to this day, you never got caught. Like this kid over here. Yeah, Landon.
Well, I don't know if you watched the last episode, though, and before you actually moved out of the house, you know that he had in your bed.
In my bed. I don't even want to go there. We can't even talk about that. I don't even want to know about it. I don't want to talk about it. So next, let's get off that topic for right now, because that's not you. Yeah,
having
you guys,
two
boys is. I was thankful though for boys. To me, I think boys are easier. We had the boys, and your mom's sister and Ed, they had the girls. Girls. Man, and right now I'm blessed because all the
you got your girls out of grandkids.
I got the girls from the grandkids now, and we got the grandson still, and hopefully we have another grandson down the road. And
I'm having a boy no matter what.
That's what you've said.
No, but you know why though? Because we're gonna do the IVF.
You've told me, yeah.
So I'm having.
You're really doing that, huh?
I'm really doing that. So
like you're gonna guarantee yourself a boy.
It's unfortunately, it's not what me or Sophie would want, but that's the card that we're dealt. And through surrogacy, the only way to do it clearly is IVF. So with IVF, you could have twins, you could have a girl, you could have a boy, they want. But we're obviously gonna have a boy.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have 3 kids. You're done after the boy.
Yeah, I want to be done. Yeah.
I just hear that the girls, and this is probably what makes me sad, with Sol and Elle and Alea and now Saya and obviously Seven. Donnell's had a baby. Obviously, a week
after
you guys. So
Saya was born.
All these girls is what I hear from my friends who have girls is it really right now it's papa like that. I feel like I'm so close to them. And I get so much love and affection from them, and just we're so close that when they start to turn that 12, 13, 14,
about that.
it just changes. Everything
changes
changes
right now, because to me, girls are the best. I always tell my friends,
They are.
my brother, that girls to me are the easiest.
Yeah.
Right at this age.
They are.
Right, everything about him is just adorable.
But it's about to
just
flip.
easy. Still boy, he's a monster. You know what I mean? Like that kid is a handful. He's like 2 kids in one. Right. So let's not talk about when they get to a certain age because I don't want to get. I don't want to get there.
It is. It's like
you're only like fucking 4 years
Okay,
away.
I don't wanna get
to
there.
a whole different lifestyle.
I don't wanna
yeah.
get
So that's
there.
the thing that
Whole different set
I'm
of
trying to
problems.
obviously cherish every moment that I have now with these girls because I do know that at some point none of this lasts forever. You know, just like with you two, I wish I could go back and you two were both, you know, babies, both 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. We can go back, but you can't. You know, you guys are grown and you guys are, you know, have your own lives and families, and so I'm not looking forward to the grandkids growing up by no means.
I will say one thing that is everybody says is that as you get older, though, which we're gonna be thankful for because we're gonna see is that everybody says that when you're older, your daughters are the ones that take care of you, not your sons. So.
Oh well, thanks. So what's that saying about?
Well, that's what that's just what they say.
Oh.
They say when you're old, when you get old, like your daughter's ones like checking on you. And they have they're talking to the parents.
Well, I don't have any girls, so I need the two of you to be checking on me.
So
Don't
Layla
put me
checking in on me.
Yeah, no, they're my
Those are my
girl's gonna
babies.
take
Those are
care of
my
me.
life.
Your
Yeah.
girl's gonna take care of you. And
I got 2 of them, so they're gonna be taking care of
your
their dad.
girls are always gonna be there for you guys. Still's always gonna be there for you. You guys both have always been there for me. You guys I know will always continue to be there for me. So I'm not worried about you guys shipping me off and putting me in a home sometime down the road. At least I'm hoping not.
I ain't gonna lie to you. It gets to that point, you're gonna be in that home.
Just make sure it's a
No.
nice
We
one
already talked about
overlooking the water.
fees.
You know, I'm good.
Well, hold on. I have a couple really good questions. Ray, how are we doing on time? Flat? So, in terms of parenting, okay, because I think that me and Austin both take a lot from you as a dad, as we're fathers obviously now, and I feel like just the way that you are as a dad, like I always give you a lot of credit as a father. I don't want to say too much because I don't even want to cry.
you.
But
Appreciate that, son.
in terms of parenting, just with us growing up, obviously you don't like to have regrets. But in terms of parenting, do you have any regrets? Moments, times, things.
The thing is, too, I don't want to talk. I told you
Oh,
guys already. I don't
God.
want to talk about those things. I didn't want to talk about you when you got sick.
Why'd you have to do this?
I would say that, you know, people always say, you know, your dad's a big crybaby and this and that, but I'm really not. But when it comes to my family, it's just, it's different because my family's my world, family's my life. But I would say that we were talking about this earlier, that when I think spending more quality time as a family, spending more quality time with the two of you outside of sports. Hate to go back to sports, but sports was our life. All we did was sports. Our vacations were sports. We never went on one family vacation if it didn't have to do with sports. We never did anything. I regret just taking you guys, going somewhere and just saying, hey, there's no sports, there's no nothing. We're just spending quality time. And it's those experiences I was sharing with you that you never get back. I was explaining to you guys, you know, take the kids, go do things, take them on vacations or go on cruises, or I know the Disneyland trips are great and this or that, but you can only, you know, do so many Disneyland trips. Like, do things so that when they grow up and they get older, they can look back and say, I remember those days that we went camping. I remember those days that we went into the mountains, or we went to the beach, or we went hiking, or that we went here, we did this as a family. Those are the things, the memories that they're going to have. I feel guilty that I did not, that your guys' memories supposed to are like, you know, it's sports, which I think they're good memories. I'm not saying that by no means, but that's probably my biggest regret, is that we're so focused on that and not just father-son type of stuff, going fishing, you know, those. Anyways,
I don't give a
let's
fuck
get
about
off
fishing.
that.
I don't give a fuck about no fishing.
You might have been a good ass fisher. You never know. You were good at everything. Both you guys probably
but
could
those are
catch,
still
get a
memories.
bunch of fish.
Those are also memories I'll remember for the rest of my life, though.
I get it.
And that's who I am today. Is sports are still a big part of my life.
I get it. But for me, I feel like I just wish I would have done more. That's all. I'm just saying I wish I would have been able to give you guys more, would have done more.
I'm going to put it this way.
Hold
I'm
on.
going to put it this way.
Go ahead.
Everyone knows, people who know me from the internet. People know Austin McBroom, that my kids are the best thing about me.
Yeah.
And I get a lot of praise for being the father that I am. And I appreciate everybody who shows me love for being the father that I am. And I just want to say that this man right here is the reason why I am the father who I am today. And you guys can obviously see that in who he is and who my brother is and who we are as fathers. So I just want to put that out there, that this man right here is the best dad that any son could ever ask for.
That's a fact. God damn it.
Thank you, son. I appreciate you guys.
All right, come on, let's move.
Can we
move
cal
on.
all that part out?
Let's move on.
Okay, can we
No, 'cause I
move
would
on?
say, okay, I just want to say one thing, like, about that, like, because I feel like one of the things that you always give me praise for is you always talk about how strong I am and like how I handle stuff and my faith and that type of stuff. But like, for me to even be that type of person, I would never be that without you.
Man, I told you guys I didn't want to get in here and get so deep into all of this.
Yeah, we're coming to the end. Can we?
I mean, I thought
can we
Sharon,
turn this
you know,
around?
Sharon, Benjamin, Enriquez, and that whole story was like enough. But again, like I said,
Just in terms of
thank you both.
in
I
terms of
appreciate it. It means a lot
regrets,
to
though,
me.
In terms of regrets, as you as a father, that's not a bad regret to have. I think a lot of fathers have way worse regrets than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that.
Well, let me just say this. I feel truly blessed, and I'm so proud of both of you, and I love you guys more than anything in this world. And thank you guys for the grandkids that you guys have given to me. That's a new chapter in my life. Thank you guys.
Hold on. You're welcome, but hold on.
Just take a moment real
can
quick.
we just
Hold on,
like
hold on.
Just take a
stop
moment.
and get over this? This is ridiculous.
He shared, as our father, he shared like what he thinks is a regret. What do you have a regret?
A regret in what way?
Something that you wish that he did differently.
No.
I have one thing.
I already know where you're
No,
going to go
it's
with
not.
this.
It's not even about. We don't even have to talk about that. It's not about the divorce or anything, because I feel like that's not a. It's touchy, but it's not a regret. 'Cause, like, my God, I needed that to happen, right?
Crazy thing is, the two of you don't even really cry like that. So I'm like, what's going on, man? You guys are making it worse for me.
Anyway, I needed that in my life. That whole situation shaped me as a person, so it's not a regret. This isn't even like an emotional thing, what I'm about to say, but the one thing I wish that you would have said to me is when I was in high school, and where I was going into high school as a freshman, and that's like the peak of the baseball. That was right after we had the big tournament in Cooperstown. I was already about to be on varsity as a freshman at a good school in high school, playing baseball and everything. That's when I was getting to the itch of like, fuck, bro, baseball is so boring.
Yeah.
Shit is so boring. And even though I was as talented as I was, to everybody around, I just was like, I can't play this shit. I don't even know why I keep crying, because what I'm about to say is not even crying. It's not touchy, it's not crazy, but it's just that I wish that you would have painted a bigger picture of like, if I would have just had three more years, and I was to tell you about Steele. I can't even fucking talk. I know Steele's gonna play baseball, and I want you to like.
You're saying like maybe pushed you to keep going?
Because you did what you're supposed to do, which is like let the kid decide.
Yeah.
But I wish you would have just been like, no, almost, and just been like, you only.
But
got
you know
3
what? I
more
actually did that. I
years.
actually did that for both of you, because to this day, when people ask me, and people that actually played at a high level professional baseball, who watched both of you play, always told. There's people that were real with me. They said Austin is not going to make it as a professional basketball player. He will make it as a professional baseball player. His skill set and the things that he does on the baseball field, at that time, was unreal. They said the same thing about you. But when we got to high school, baseball for both of you, all I heard from both of you was it was so boring. And with basketball, you guys, you're involved the whole time. It's fast paced, and you're involved in every aspect of it. You're playing offense and defense and what have you. But with baseball, Austin played 1 year and he was like done. That's when eventually he wanted to do something else and played a little bit of football. And with you, yeah, looking back now, I wish I would have pushed you both a little bit harder with saying, hey, no, you need to play baseball. You're going to play baseball. See where this takes you. Don't quit. Don't stop. But at some point, as much sports as you guys were playing, as much as you guys were doing, at some point you have to let your kids decide on what they want to do, because it can't always be about the dad, about me, about the parent. It has to be about what your kid wants. What do they want? That's what I was talking about earlier about a lot of dads live through their kids. And you can't do that. I can't live through you guys. Yeah, my dream for me was to be a professional baseball player. For me, my dream was for both of you to play professional sports. I didn't know if that was going to be baseball. I didn't know if it was going to be basketball. I didn't know what it was going to be. I just knew you both were super athletic and could do anything you guys wanted to do. So with that being said, I mean, I do understand where you're coming from.
So wait, you wish you would have kept playing baseball?
I'm saying that, like,
you're a millionaire now. Like, what? Where's this coming from?
No, it's just that, like, we obviously had, like, a natural gift, obviously, and we had something that would have been, I feel like, just relatively easy, right? But I feel like since we quit it, and I feel like me playing basketball is just how I was transitioning, and then you were always playing basketball, so I got heavy into basketball after, like, 7th, 8th grade or whatever. I just feel like I just wish that a picture was painted of what would have happened at that time. Like, it would have even been all the way till
it's almost like a what if, but we can't live in, like I said, in the past or what ifs.
I have a reason. I'm just saying, as a parent, like,
yeah.
I know Steele's gonna play baseball.
Yeah,
I know Steele's gonna be crazy at baseball, especially how we are.
And
now,
again, I think Steele is probably going to be good at whatever he does.
As we know,
yeah.
Now all stuff that we do know, we know the actual facts. We know how tall he's gonna be. We know, like, exactly. He's gonna know exactly what to do to make him literally the number one player in the country.
Can I share something with you guys real quick?
Steel Boy is the chosen one, bro. Think of his name.
Steel. Real quick, I got to share something with you guys. This is important because it's something that my mom, your grandma, shared with me. She remembers when she was first dating Benjamin that he was a really good baseball player. In his room, he lived with his parents, his mom and dad. He had she remembers seeing baseball trophies and things up in his room. So that was his sport, was baseball. And obviously she said that she felt like he had to be like a pretty good baseball player. And then I grew up playing baseball, and I don't want to say I was nowhere ever close to where you guys were with your as athletic and as good as you guys in sports. I was decent, and I played sports and what have you, and played baseball in high school. But the two of you it was just at a different level. So it's just funny, crazy how it went from him to me to both of you. And I think with you being 4 years older, he really looked up to you and followed in your footsteps, because he played everything obviously you played. I signed him up for all the same stuff, but he followed you in baseball. You stopped playing baseball. He stopped playing baseball. You continue with basketball. He continued with basketball. You did the football. He went into the football. And the crazy thing is, it's just like everything you guys did, you both were so good at whatever you guys focused on. But what I'm getting at is it's also so hard to be good at everything, because you can only put so much time into all of it. It's like whatever it is.
But that's why, like, I think that what we all learn from just the experience of growing up and that type of thing is, like, imagine he didn't play nothing else besides baseball the entire time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So imagine with Steele, you have a conversation way younger being like, I know you fuck with basketball, bro, but this shit right here is going to take you to you're going to be unrecognizable, the lifestyle that you're going to have. You know what I'm saying? You are especially good. I know you like this little bro. Trust me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
On top of that, like, thank God he played basketball and he got free education. And he lived lifestyle.
It was a blessing. College got paid for.
Met all the people
the experience
that he did.
of what he did, and not to mention, I mean, people can go online and look. You were a damn good Division I basketball player. Your senior year, I mean, you were top 10, top 20. I think top 10 in scoring.
Man,
your points. You're averaging.
Really hooped.
No,
hold up, time out.
Seriously.
Hey, you be seeing those 1-on-1,
right?
The 1v1 basketball tournaments on social media. I know you be seeing those. Yep. Right now, you clip this. Anybody that want to play me, I'm putting up any type of money. We could put up 20, 50, 100,000.
I don't know.
One-on-one versus anybody.
I don't know about that.
My brother will put up
no.
money his own. He
What?
betting on me that I'm beating anybody on social media.
Oh, on social
Oh,
media.
Anybody
yeah.
on
an
social media.
influencer.
Obviously, I'm not going to play freaking NBA guys and real hoopers that play every day. Any guys that are on social media, like we're talking about all the social media hoopers,
Yeah.
including them
Yeah.
that are real hoopers on social media.
Yeah.
If anybody wants
I'll
to play
put
me
the bet
one-on-one,
up there.
put your money up, put my money up. We can play
Hey, I'll
anytime,
throw in
any place,
$10
anywhere.
on that. I'll add $10 to that.
Hey,
So
I will say one thing though. I'm a little suspect because we played runs yesterday, and Austin was after
His
the fourth
back?
run. No, not his
His
back.
knee?
He said, "We're about to run again." All right, hold on. he was sliding.
Hey,
He was sliding.
yeah.
his
was
knee to get
tripping,
it
though.
You know
going.
what?
But
That's one thing you got to remember, bro. You're not in your 20s anymore.
It
You're
don't matter.
you're pushing the mid-30s,
It
which
don't
means
matter.
you
It
don't
don't matter.
start
We
going
played
towards
last
the
night.
40s.
Ass Landon. I couldn't
It's going to
miss.
be your back, your neck and your back,
Couldn't miss.
your knee,
Hey,
your elbows, shoulders.
My call
it
out.
changes.
My call out still stands. Again, anybody that want this one-on-one 3-point contest, whatever you want,
Oh,
put
I'll
your
get in
money
the
up. I'm
three-point
here.
contest.
I'll
Where
put-
you think
I'll
you
put-
got
You
the
see,
skills
I'll
from?
you
put it
see
on
my
it.
full court back behind us. You see it. We can play anytime, any place, anywhere.
I'll put it on it. I'll double whatever you
I
put
know
in.
you will.
I'll put a chair up there courtside. Watch. That's
All
for
right,
sure.
guys. Well, I don't even know how to explain the last 15 minutes of this conversation. 'Cause
Yeah,
there was a
man. I
bunch
did
of
not want.
live
I already
fucking-
told the two of you. I did not want to get deep into that, any of that kind of stuff. But anyways,
Well,
it's
well-
all good. You know, somebody. You know, it's. I do believe this. I do believe, and again, I don't want to get cliche, but I do believe real men do cry especially when it comes to their family and their loved ones, and they'll do anything to protect them. So, with that being said, I mean, it is what it is. I'm not ashamed of it.
It's all my homies watching in Palmdale. It's all my big
It is
homies
what
watching
it
in
is.
Palmdale.
I'm not ashamed of it. Call me a crybaby if you want to. That's okay.
He's already prepared for the comments.
That's okay.
Guys.
No, but seriously though, you know,
Well, Dad, thank you for coming on our
100%.
show. Last minute too. You
Yeah.
came prepared. You
Yeah.
already knew what type of show it was. Thank
got
you.
off work, had date night, set with wifey. We was going to dinner, going to see a movie. Had to cancel all that.
Well, how about this? How about me and Austin? We chip half and half, full date night on us.
Hey.
Dinner plus movies plus dessert, everything.
Yeah,
on
get
us.
your popcorn, get your chips.
This ain't the
get your
dollar
snacks.
movies and Taco Bell, right? Because I know how the two of you sometimes.
no,
roll.
we'll
Nah,
do
this
it.
Sinopolis.
Oh, okay.
Go to Sinopolis,
Okay.
order wherever you
All
want.
right, all right. We'll
It's
take
on-
that.
it's
We'll
on
take
Landon,
that.
so.
Right now, like I said, I'm in the doghouse because I had to cancel date night, but you know, she'll forgive me. It's all good. You know.
Well, Mommy, you were sorry. We just, you know what I mean? We wanted to have our dad on here tonight. It
You
was
know
the
how she
last
feels
minute.
about the two of you.
And always, as you guys know, be respectful of all of our guests. Make sure you show love.
Keep the
in the comment
crybaby comments to a minute.
I really don't care about all that stuff. You guys know me. It's all love at the end of the day, and thank you guys for having me.
Yep.
It
And
was
you
fun.
never know what the future holds with possibly finding your biological dad.
Yeah.
That as well. And also, I wanted to say before we close out that we really dead ass could have had a 6-hour podcast if we really wanted to with our dad or our mom or anyone in our family.
Yeah.
We probably have things that we could have touched on.
Oh, we can have a
more.
part 2 down
Well,
the road
we'll have a
sometime.
part 2, but he said if we do a part 2, it has to be in summer because he's not doing this again. That's what he said
Yeah,
before
man,
we
these
even
guys
started
got me
filming.
out here, man. Didn't even offer your pops a beanie. You over there with some snow gloves. I ain't got no gloves. I got a heater that's for looks. And yeah, man, I had to bring my own heating blanket. It's all
by the
good.
way.
On
It's
that
all
note,
good.
guys,
shit.
we love you guys. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and we'll see you on episode 9 of the Outside Voices podcast.
Peace.
Peace.